to the inclement weather and the fire regulations, I will not be doing my naked dance on fire. I know this is a great disappointment, but I'll try to make up for it with something else. I find this a very strange circumstance. A gentleman named Rick Perry, you may know the name.
Trying to forget.
Rick Perry. Oh, please, no opinions in advance. Got him. He was starting. You see? I must say that Rick Perry, some time ago, because of a drought, he felt that it was necessary to pray for rain. He didn't get it, but we did, and we didn't pray for it. So there. That proves something. I think I don't quite know what, but I'll work on it. Now, as a skeptic, I must admit that I'm not always as well received as I have been here today. I appeared before the public with my message on college and university campuses all over the world, and when I'm asked by a potential attendee as to exactly where I'll be speaking, I sometimes tell them, just listen very carefully. Listen carefully, and you'll hear angry murmurings. You will hear the sound of scythes and pitchforks clashing together, and you'll see torchlight. I'll be there. Or have you never seen that 1935 film, The Bride of Frankenstein? Wonderful film. And I relate to it very closely, I assure you. This event, this rally, is very much centered on the secular point of view, of course, and I am very firmly of the opinion that the greater part of the confusion that presently exists concerning rationality and reason is directly due to the persistent influence of religion. However, I'd like to deal with the greater general problem that now faces us. Beginning about the year 1700 or so, what we know as the Enlightenment brought about the application of rationality to all questions and problems. Thinkers and writers became free to pursue the truth however they wished without threats of sanction for violating established ideas. Sadly, the Enlightenment, it appears, is now over and done with. Those of us who are courageous enough to reject superstition, false authority, dogma, and wishful thinking have yet to recover from our previous administration's science-bashing philosophy. Isn't that true? Now, centers of learning have kowtowed to popular delusions by embracing ideas that do not survive proper examination in any way. They offer courses in poor thinking, and such acceptance also implies their endorsement. Many people no longer think for themselves, but surrender that process to the media and to the opportunists who happily fleece them as a result. Religion rules minds as it did when witch-burning and angels seemed to be viable and believable notions. Millions of law enforcement authorities, social services, science teachers, medical practitioners, and politicians actually believe, ladies and gentlemen, despite overwhelming contrary evidence, that our Earth is only 6,000 years old. And that a malevolent deity, thanks a lot, brings floods, pestilence, and suffering to those who he, she, or it, whatever, chooses to hate, but rewards others who make themselves into human bombs. How delightful. This sort of belief has invaded the highest levels of the media, government, and the teaching professions. But how did such a widespread desertion of common sense and fact ever come about? Why? Because it's so much easier to have a simplistic view. Little or no thinking is required. Those who surround you will tolerate you if you simply don't speak up, and all you have to do is to allow the yahoos to take over while staying out of their way. Be careful, they do stampede every now and then. The woo-woos are active anti-science elements, but they're not nearly as dangerous to our security as those centers of higher learning who try to justify the awarding of science degrees in subjects that are anti-science in every respect. The truth of what they teach is not based on fact, but on emotion, tradition, and convenience. It's now become politically incorrect to question things like this. Enormous harm has been done to science by emphasizing quantity of data over quality, and at the extremes, fraud and fakery over honest and hard, consistent intellectual work. Happily, science has self-correcting mechanisms built in so that mistakes and the occasional bit of fakery are eventually automatically eliminated. Left to itself, science has created and shaped much of the world in which we live, but constant vigilance can never be relaxed, or the woo-woos can and will move in permanently. Now, we of the James Randi Educational Foundation, which we fondly call the JREF, have been in the forefront of the battle against what's been termed pathological science, the careless, incompetent overemphasis on authority rather than on expertise, plain stupidity, the tantalizing Nobel Prize on the horizon syndrome, and often just simple avarice. All but one of these are elements not unheard of in everyday life, and the layperson can easily relate to them. Now, philosophically, I'm both an atheist and a skeptic, but just who and what are we skeptics? Skepticism means having good reasons for holding any belief. We're cautious about drawing conclusions, but always willing to change our minds upon the presentation of new or better information. Don't please equate us with cynics, who, by current usage of that term, believe that people are basically bad or stupid. We believe, but always with good reason, remember, that most people tend to too easily accept supernatural, paranormal, or irrational explanations of quite ordinary events and claims that can be explained by otherwise careful investigation. We come from all walks of life and may have very differing worldviews, but we share a commitment to careful discussion and to respectful examination of claims and assertions about supposedly supernatural events or processes. We make our judgments and draw logical conclusions, but for sufficient reason, we'll withhold that judgment pending the arrival of more or better data. Now, my parents, bless them, more or less, they told me that a couple of folks named Adam and Eve were the original two humans. Duh. They were plunked down into a convenient garden to start our species going, they told me. But I still don't understand, folks. They only had 2 children, both of them sons. That's rather strange right there. And one of them killed the other, by the way. But somehow they produced enough people to populate the earth, and that was done without incest, which is a big no-no and certainly impossible given the facts of the story. Then some prophet or other made the earth stop turning. An army blew horns until a big wall fell down someplace. A guy named Moses made the Red Sea divide into 2 and made frogs fall out of the sky. Yes, sure. We're asked to believe this, and I was, as a child, asked to believe this. And that's only a small start on one religion. A miracle over flying horses in the Quran, Krishna stopping the sun, as happened in the Bible, of course. They wouldn't want to miss out on an act like that. The chap was named Joshua, somebody or other, I believe. And then there's Harry Potter. Oh, yes, I think you'll agree with me, folks. Harry Potter and the Wizard of Oz are much more believable and much, much more fun. I'll tell you, incidentally, that I've also looked into the claims of reincarnation, and I don't believe that one bit, though I used to in a former life. You laugh. Critics of this reading have chortled that we won't be seeing heaven, but I'll take my chances. Streets paved in gold, I think that'd be a huge bore. If I had my choice, I'd perhaps choose, end-to-end Bill Maher shows for eternity, or maybe not. Folks, it's certainly time that we all grew up. Instead of forging ahead into the 14th century, we should be embracing the 21st by writing fini to belief in the bigoted, capricious, cruel, deceitful, genocidal, homophobic, insecure, intolerant, irrational, jealous, malevolent, misogynistic, racist, sadist, vindictive, and violent bully who demands constant praise, sacrifice, adulation, and ego support. Or the penalties he promises will be very severe. I have found in my observations that religious people are constantly fearful, trembling and wondering if they've committed any infractions of the multitude of rules they have to follow. They are ruled by fear. That's not my style, and it's not yours either. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so very grateful and sincerely flattered to be invited today to join these beautiful people with whom I share these feelings. My partner of 25 years cannot be beside me today because of some legal difficulties in which we're presently involved, but I will extend to you all his personal thanks for this great honor afforded us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.